Welcome back to our channels, Warriors. We are still growing. If you haven't had your baby mama's new boyfriend smash that subscribe button, go ahead and have him smash it right now. We are almost to 15K subscribers. Thank you guys. Subscribe and keep sharing. First and foremost, let me give a shout out to the following patrons: Soulstar LA, John Wick, Marshall, Brenda, my tocayo Hector, Coach Ken, Miguel L, AI Vega, Fio, Claudia, Miguel, let our actions lead others to Christ, Big Bad 48, Nova, Jack, Linda, Michigan Wolverines, Marius, Chevelle 66, Abuelita's Journey, and Douse Herrero. If you have not already signed up for that Patreon, make sure you do it the link below. You do not want to be missing out. This episode right here, man. This is going to be part 2 of the crisis response team experience for me, right? The team in the prison that responds to situations like hostage situations, riots, execute search warrants out on the streets, has a different list of duties that they do. So I passed the tryouts, right? Long day, 10-hour day, had to drink some Pedialyte, right? Get a massage. Afterwards, not during, afterwards. So what is the... Did I become a tactical operator, certified operator then and there? No, you become what is known as a potential team member, a PTM. With that, it's still sort of a tryout. It is still a tryout period for up until a year. Could go longer, right? And the reason for that is the academies up in San Luis Obispo to become certified, they kind of constant every year, right? They rotate. So it's like, okay, if you get in at a certain time and there's an academy right off the bat, you're clearly not going to be ready to attend that academy. You have to be at a certain level of skill to be able to shoot and qualify in to get in. You have to qualify to get into these types of academies, which is cool because it pushes you. So I was in the Donovan team. I had already served in the military. I had already been to Iraq, combat operations. I had already did 10 years as an officer, and the last 2 were as a sergeant. Needless to say, I had a little bit of experience under my belt. So I had to humble myself. It was humbling. It was humbling because I wasn't the only PTM. There was like 4 or 5 of us. It was like 5. One dude quit during the process. So it was like technically like 4 of us. So, hey, man, it's basically like going back to square one of basic training, boot camps type training. Right, you're the lowest man on the totem pole. You got to do the BS. You got to deal with the BS. They tell you to run here. You got to run there. You got to run back. You got to run back. Tell you to get down and do some push-ups. You got to do some push-ups. So it's like, all right, I see what's going on here. But the crisis response team program is bigger than me. I'm just one person. You know what I mean? I signed up to join that program. So I know what I have to do. I know what I have to do. I have to do as I'm told. Not only do I display good leadership qualities, but I'm also a great follower. And I've heard that you have to be a great follower to be a great leader. So there my friends go messing up. They tell us not to leave our equipment in the benches. They leave the equipment on the benches. Everybody get down, do push-ups. So a lot of that, and I'm trying my hardest to get them up to point, but realistically, you're still gonna go through it. You're gonna go through it. It was hot. Ooh, one summer was so hot. It was probably like a record-breaking summer in San Diego. It was so hot, my homie would always throw up. Every training he would throw up. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny, right? We gave him the nickname Ralph. He's like, dry heaving. I mean, you're low crawling with your helmet on the ground. I mean, everything is for a purpose, for a design. There were some things I didn't like. For instance, your boy ain't gonna get disrespected. Your boy ain't gonna get disrespected, right? So I was very cautious of what point I was going to allow the shenanigans to happen. Didn't get so far to the point where I just was not gonna be a part of it, but I'm like, all right, I'm just watching, I'm monitoring everything, right? I see everything. The shooting in the army, I was armed with an M16 rifle. On top of that, your boy got an M16 with a 203 grenade launcher on the bottom. Say hello to my little friend. Scarface looked exactly like that. I was a grenadier at one point. So grenadier, thump, thump, shooting grenades, the high explosive grenades. I had zero experience with a handgun. Zero. I almost pulled one out right now. Don't trip. So, before we deployed to Iraq, my platoon sergeant, he was a psychopath, but in a good way. Maybe you kind of need psychopaths in war. He was a psychopath. He hands me a 9mm Beretta Army issue and says, I hear, when we start getting attacked, point this out the window and start shooting. Cool. Out the window of the Humvee. That was it. Never qualified, never trained on a handgun, zero. The crisis response team shooting skill set qualification course is by far the best, most precision surgical shooting I have ever probably witnessed and experienced. And other SWAT teams train with the CRT. We train with other SWAT teams, other agencies, all kinds. Think of every agency. There's intermixed training, this and that. Even they're like, wow, your qualification course is quite challenging, guys. Then I could say it in those words. I'm talking about if you want to shoot. Well, I mean, fuck, we might as well just keep it real. If you want to shoot a person between the eyes at a pretty lengthy distance, as fast as humanly possible, you're going to be able to knock it out no problem. No problem. Consistently. Over and over and over again. No matter where you want that bullet to go, it's going to go. That's the type of training that you receive. Which, in essence, I think my lucky stars is that, man, that's kind of cool. I mean, on an M16, that was like an extension from my body, right? We do have an M4 assigned on the team. That's like an extension to me. I can do all that all day long. Somebody asked me if I can take one apart, put one together with a blindfold. Yeah, I never did it, but I'm more than likely, of course, right? I know how to. I feel it. This handgun, woohoo! Boy, this handgun, right? Not only am I gonna put one in your freaking forehead, right? Two to the chest, one in the head, failure drills. I never even had done that prior. Two to the chest, one in the head, boom, 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 all day long. Like it ain't shit, right? Just wow. You got to realize the severity of the situation. They get called when all hell has broken loose. That's a fact. That's a fact. On to the OP1 Academy. And this is where things take a turn. My wife had gotten pregnant around that time frame. When I was a PTM, my wife had gotten pregnant. That we had planned on it. We were in Italy. We went to Rome. We had discussed it. We had already been together. Let me see, 10. I got together with her as soon as I graduated the academy the next day. 10 years together. Got married in 2011. It's like, hey, it's your boy right here started getting baby fever. I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. I forgot how old I was, like in the early 30s. Your boy started getting baby fever. A lot of my friends, hey, and before that, ooh, your boy was a wild one, right? Your boy was a wild one. Absolutely did not want any children, right? So say my pullout game was on point. I might as well. There's no point in me ever holding back when I don't have to. So one of the luxuries of being a free man. Right? My pullout game was on point up until the time I decided to have a child. My wife and I decided to have a child. She got pregnant. I was ecstatic. I was so ecstatic, man. Head over heels. Just your boy was your boy was glowing, man. Your boy was glowing. Go to the academy, right? I had only maybe told a handful, less than a handful of people. One of them was my boys that was being a PTM with me, a potential team member. We were going through the process together. He's now a parole agent. We get to the academy, right? It's a 10-day academy in San Luis Obispo for those inquiring, wanting to know. Think of it as your typical SWAT academy, your SWAT team academy. You're going to be Google or YouTube, it looks exactly like that. Moving fast, shooting fast, running fast, carrying things, climbing things, chemical agents, CS gas. No OC, no pepper spray. We were already exposed to that at the academy, the regular academy. So, chemical agents, training inside of like fake little villages, mount houses, urban terrain. Same thing as a military, on a military installation. You know, when we'd get some downtime, we'd be sitting there and I would just be telling people, like, yeah, I'm going to be a dad. I'm going to be a dad. I'm going to be a dad. Everybody was like, oh, that's great, man. Congrats, congrats. And, we train like 18-hour days. Believe me when I tell you 18-hour days. It has now since changed since then. Whether I agree or not, that's irrelevant. That's irrelevant, right? Because at that time you're getting the same training, right? Just shortened time. But the instructors there, top of the line. Top of the line, what you have there is the best CRT operators, some in leadership positions at the CRT Academy training you. You have the best of the best. Think about it. People join to become a correctional officer. They do it. They do their thing. That's one accomplishment, becoming a CO. Some people promote. That's another accomplishment. You join the crisis response team. That's another accomplishment. You become certified in special skill sets, sniper, rappel master, entry operations instructor, defensive tactics instructor, squad leader, team leader, CERT commander. That's another accomplishment. So what you have those individuals at the peak, at the pinnacle of their career, instructing the potential team members to become certified tactical operators. It's a humbling, it's a great experience. Not only are these guys badasses, right? Badasses in the term badasses, but their personality are good people. Down to earth, humble, extremely humble. Integrity. I can't say enough good things about the instructors at those academies and the individuals throughout the state, down from the bottom of Ironwood State Prison up to High Desert and Pelican Bay. You guys get it. The plan was for my parents to drive up from El Centro to watch my graduation. The graduation was to take place on a Friday. On the 10th day, consisted of you waking up, cleaning your barracks, and going to the academy ceremony at 9 a.m. The day before, Thursday, was your final examinations, your final written test, your final tactical test, your final shooting courses. They're like, hey, you had to qual in, now you got to qual out. The plan was also for my wife to drive up to the academy, San Luis Obispo. The plan was to surprise my parents then and there. Hey, not only is your son just became a CRT operator, but guess what, mom, dad, we're gonna have a baby. It is Thursday. Thursday, the day that I tell you we do the final examination. I do everything. I'm expecting my wife to arrive that evening. I call her. Say hello. Hey, where you at? At home? At home? Like, you're supposed to be on the road. Oh, yeah, I was at the hospital all night. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, the baby doesn't have a heartbeat. I'm like, fuck, man. I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. I gotta go. I gotta get out of here. Right. I look to my friend, the one that's a parole agent. I'm like, I start crying. I start crying. He sees me crying. I said, why didn't you tell me? Why? Like, she said, I wanted you to finish everything. I wanted you to finish. I knew if I told you, you were going to come home and not do your final examinations. And I'm like, oh, no, like, no, I don't care about this. Like, this is a fucking training. Like, this is, I gotta go. I'm gonna head down there right now. Hang up the phone. Fuck, I'm like crying, telling my friend looking at me like he knew what time it was, and I'm like, hey, dude, I gotta go, bro. I gotta go. He's like, call the instructors. Call the instructor. I was like, hey, man, I know, I was ecstatic that I was gonna have a child. Can you my wife just lost a baby. Can you I, I gotta go, man. I gotta leave. They're like, yeah, come to our barracks, man, bro. Like, and then they embraced me. That's when I knew the brotherhood. That's when I knew like that program was it. Because they were gonna make all kinds of arrangements. They were gonna make all kinds of arrangements to get me a state vehicle. They were gonna whatever I needed. They had it there, right? They were gonna offer it. I was like, no, 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 don't trip. Like, and man, your boy was hurting. Your boy was hurting. I was like, don't trip. My parents are like near. They're near. I'm just gonna call them and let them know, like, hey, there's no graduation. Just come and get me and take me to San Diego ASAP. They're like, all right. Called my parents. I'm like, where you at? They're like, oh, we're like 30, 45 minutes away, 30 minutes away. And I was like, hey, like, fuck, this is not the way I wanted to tell you guys at all, man, at all. But I need you guys to come here, get me, and take me back to San Diego, please. Uh, you know, they said my wife's name's gonna was pregnant. She lost a baby. They're like, all right, no worries, no worries. We're right there, right around the corner. We're gonna come get you. They come get me on the base, the army base. We're driving down south. There was a Carl's Jr. I was sitting in the back seat. I was sitting in the back seat and I just couldn't stop crying. Like, fuck. Like, one thing you guys don't know about me is loss. Loss gets me bad. The thought of my wife being alone at the hospital, she had told me she was bleeding all night long. The thought of my wife having to endure that by herself, the the loss of our baby, it's like, dude, it weighed heavy on me, big time. So I get home, like, compadres send flowers, people send like food through like Uber Eats. I'm like very grateful for those people. It was the first time I had ever experienced that. Like I wasn't ready for that. At the academy prior to leaving, they're like, "Don't trip, don't trip. We're gonna get you your certification. You graduated. You passed everything. You graduated." I'm like, like thanks, thank you, like, but I got family members to attend to, right? Family matters to attend to. So get home, and the grieving process starts. Man, miscarriage. If anybody has ever gone through that, I had never gone through that. I was hurting, man. We go to the doctor's appointment just to verify that, again, there was no heartbeat. I'm right there. The nurse is like, yeah, there's not. And I'm just like, broke down crying again. And I'm like, oh, man. Like I said, loss, 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 loss. Loss and grief. First time I ever lost a loved one was my grandmother, right? My Nana Rosie. She died of cancer. I was a teenager. She always told me, Hector, I don't want to see you with long hairs and I don't want to see you with tattoos. I remember that. I never did, right? I was 16. She passed away. Oh, it hurt me. She was very close to me. I was very close to her. I let my hair grow out. I became a skater, right? I never did grow my hair out when she was around. Told me not to. Didn't have any tattoos. Of course, I was 16, but eventually I would get my first one at 18. Then I'd go off to Iraq, and my friend got killed on my mom's birthday. And then friends just continuously started to get killed over and over and over again. Then I got out of the army. My friends were still deployed in Iraq and were getting killed in action over and over and over again. And it was never easier. Never easier. So I have a problem with that. Like personal struggle. Not a problem, it's a struggle, right? It's not that I have a problem with my friends dying. I struggle to accept it. With that, the message for today is we're going to endure all kinds of stuff in our life. Right? I got the names of my brothers tattooed on my back. We lost our first baby due to a miscarriage. And none of this is coming back. None of this is coming back. It's gone forever. Every year Memorial Day rolls around. As a matter of fact, it's this month and it's already in my mind. It's been in my mind. It's every day is Memorial Day for me. So just keep up the good fight. I did have to go through a lot of therapy. It's kind of been a minute since I've been back, but I don't know. That's something I might have to dive into. With that, that is the message. Keep pushing forward.